Pashaparo, YN7. Thank you for tuning. The replay, the tarot files. All right, so it's going to be the 21st through the 27th. We're going to be using the 8-coin tattoo tarot deck today. Let's get some more sage up in here. All right, 10:32, 5, 6. Okay, so we're gonna go into the core. We're gonna go into the core. Okay. All right, so we had two that I'll take. It popped out. Let's see here, how we gonna do this? All right, let me get this. I went to space there for a minute. Welcome back, Pasha. You know I'm getting it on the screen now for you. Shout out to all the people that have been rocking with me for a minute. You know the drill. So the two that came out, we have the Hierophant and Judgment, right? So the Hierophant, we can start there, was the first priest. The old name was the Master Khanum, right? So we got general meaning was conservative attitude, good advice, education, highest, most common, family, clan, kin, religion, tradition. So this is at the core, right? So we'll put conservative family. The events is implied subject, obtainment of valuable advice, marriage, christening, religious and family values, and feast. All right, so look, right, under the business is folk craft, hereditary professions, and businesses that require traditional attitude, old-fashioned attitude, taking into account the human factor at work, right? So human craftsmanship. I'm just going to put craftsmanship. You know, because things that are crafted, they're not produced, right? And hereditary positions. I think that's important for some reason. Things that came down through your family, right? So relationship is legal marriage, church marriage, union, traditional relationship as parental, constant, time-tested, family blessed. So we'll see what that marriage is talking about. What you're married to, the game, the money, the life, the fame. We'll find out in a moment. So health, regular standard, psychological characteristics is consciousness, search of the meaning of life and discovering, authority, sensible, fair. So seeking meaning in life. All right. So ask for advice from sage, authoritative people, act as usual, as admissible. The warning is don't be too proud of what you have achieved. Never be a fanatic of truth. Don't listen to wrong advices, right? Because too much of anything is bad. So proud is good, but don't be too proud. All right. And then your results is going to be deep inner trust in oneself as a result of belief in the highest aim. Right? The highest aim. All right, so judgment, right, is the revival of the dead ones. It's rising from the dust, the phoenix. So revival or revived, phoenix, rise from the ashes. I'm going to put remember, you've been doing a lot of destroying lately, so treasure, delivery, liberation, magical kiss. Treasure discovered. Okay, so this is at the core of next week for you. So the astrological point, element of fire that burns all obstacles, planet Pluto, god of inner fire. Now Jupiter and uranium harmonizes with the sun. So, you know, we got that thing tomorrow. Kabbalistic equivalent. Shin is tooth fang, corresponds to the element of fire, maternal letter alphabet. Okay, so general meaning is the change of a situation, right? Because you discovered the treasure. So change. Putting the notes together for you. Change the situation. We're going to find out if that's going to be good or bad. Stay with us. Renewal, way out, solution, resurrection, and revival. So solutions. Right? And the events is judgment, of course. Final decision. Salvation, lucky end. Start everything from the beginning, right? So, the final decision. Been having to do a lot of thinking lately, a lot of choices over the last couple of weeks. Big choices, and I guess you finally come into that one, right? It's going to appear to be a lucky end, but let's see how we get into that. Let's see how all this ties together. This is just at the core, right? Start from the beginning. Sometimes we like to get ahead of ourselves. Ain't that right? So the relationship is a real union in every sense. You got forgiveness, you got relative, you got close, fraternal, or divergence, loss of relationship. So real union. Okay? So your health is helpful medicine, remission, recovery, good hereditary. Helpful medicine, remission. So that kind of sums up with the whole revival, sense of revival and everything. Things are going into remission that were bad. So, good things don't normally be defined as going into remission. So psychological characteristics, again, we're talking consciousness, puberty, comprehension, freedom, strain to hold on to own emotions, and avert to the past. So, okay. Hard to control emotions. What's going to cause that for you next week? I know some of y'all are into holidays. You may be excited about gatherings and or gifts. Let's see how it all ties together, though. This is just the core next week. This is just the core. So the advice is believe that the solution of a problem is near. Ask relatives for help, right? So solution is near. You may ask for help, maybe you don't. There's a lot of ways that could be taken. Maybe they're going to be physically helping. Maybe they're going to be able to help by just, staying out the way. You never know. It depends on what kind of worker you are, what kind of person you got. So warning is don't forget the relatives, family members, your roots are struck down. So it's the perfect time to season, so to speak, for the holiday minded to actually for that comment. Everybody's gonna be talking about don't forget me this week, right? So liberation from the previous destiny is the result, right? Free from old destiny. All right, so what we gonna get into now? Next will be your past feelings or attitudes. Okay. There go the comments for you. Pretty busy core this week. And we got, conservative fam, valued advice, craftsmanship, and like a hereditary profession. So, like if your father or mother was a lawyer, they're getting you into being a lawyer or a craftsman. I think, but I don't think a lawyer would be it because it's craftsmanship. It's about you got to make stuff. You know what I mean? Like you got to be creating with your tools and with your creativity, whether that's your paintbrush, whether that's your chisel, whether that's your, your eye, maybe you just got the eye for design or something, anything like that. So marriage, seeking meaning of life, right? So that just ran together like that. But maybe that's what you're committed to, like that union you got going on, that you finally committed to seeking the meaning of life, and you learning to never be too proud. And a good way to come to never being too proud is to get away from being humble, right? So you got to stop being humble, but move towards proud, but don't be too proud. You know what I'm saying? I've always said that. So highest aim, deeper inner trust in oneself. We got revived, the phoenix rising from the ashes. The treasure was discovered. Change the situation. The solution is finally the final decision, right? Seems like a lucky end, but you started from the beginning. So what's gonna probably be coming up this week is you're gonna, you know, it's gonna be that Drake thing. Started from the bottom, now we here. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna remember all that you went through to get here, and you're having a real union. It's gonna be hard to control the emotions. Maybe you finally overcome some obstacles. We gotta find out though. Solution is near though. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's gonna separate you from the old destiny, get you into your new one. You know what I mean? We just did the video on the Y97 about survival. So maybe we're going to open up some different opportunities for you, free you from the old destiny, and give you your new one, that one that you really want. Let's see what's going down. Your past actions, past feelings, past feelings and attitudes coming up right now. Pasha Paro, Tarot Files, Y97. 12, 10:47, 12. We got a lot of stuff going on the heavy side with these major arcanas. So far, all the cards have been a major arcana. So that's pretty interesting, powerful, as usual. But that's why you're here at the Tarot Files. All right, let me get this up on the screen for you. You know what? Hold on. So with this one, right? I'm gonna give it to you from the book. The cool thing about the 8 coins tattoo tarot deck is their actual cards each have their own little like story. But I wanna show you this one real quick. Star, sun. So the death, right? Death comes as sometimes startling reminder of the ever flowering cycles we are surrounded by daily. In order for your next chapter to begin, the previous one must end. This can feel painful, but confusion and grief are all part of moving forward. Death reminds us to acknowledge these feelings and prepare us to move past them Open yourself to the beautiful new beginnings. See? Now, this is upside down. So, but it's saying don't fear the end of this new cycle, right? In order to grow, you must shed your old self. So that actually correlates with what the actual what it was saying about the core, right? So let's check it out. So the old name of the death card is the Scythe. Okay, or Scythe, Scythe. The archetype divergence is death, of course, and dealing with some Scorpios here, right? So now in reverse, it actually means interaction, inertia, dream, stoniness, and fear of changes. So that's making sense. So you had a fear of change before. Your past feelings or attitudes was you feared change, but you're getting over that because the core of this week is you're free from your old destiny. So the events are hope, downfall, negative changes, disorder, unnecessary affairs, right? So in the past, your past feelings or attributes, you had a lot of negativity going on, wasted time, the business and work was bankruptcy proceedings, bankrupt, external controller, and protracted crisis. So you were going through some. You felt bad. You felt broke, right? Okay, so psychological characteristics is fears, resistance to change, fear, phobia. Advice is to endure the situation, wait for the right time, and ignore, the rest. So the warning is don't stretch rubber. Don't cut slice by slice. Don't stretch the rubber. I mean, because it'll break. And the result is the situation isn't finished, and the situation will never finish. So you felt like it was a never-ending story of debt, fear, negativity, repetition of wasted time. And we gotta figure out what that don't stretch the rubber actually is coming into place with. Okay. Now we're gonna get into your past actions, right? Take a look at that, the notes, while I get you ready for your next one. So far, it seems like you're overcoming that fear of change, because you're being revived. The phoenix is rising from the ashes, discovered treasure, change of a situation. So change, something's moved you out of that fear of change and got you, it's hard to control your emotions because maybe, you was afraid and you thought you would never get out of the situation. All these things could be why you're feeling lucky now. You got that new beginning, but you started from the beginning. You got a real union going on, like you found real love, whether that doesn't mean necessarily the relationship with a person. It could be your self-love. Maybe you weren't in love with yourself the way you should be. Maybe you weren't loving what you did to get paid the way you should or way you wanted to, and now you're getting to the point where you found that that feeling you've been looking for, that life you've been wanting, and you're accepting that as your new beginnings. So let's see what your past actions was to get you there. 56, 10, 11, 12. Okay. You definitely wanted to put that coin together, right? Let me get this next card on the screen here. You got that Ten of Pentacles. So you already know this about, you don't put the work in. You got a bountiful harvest, right? It makes sense for your past actions if you get into the point where you're starting to reach that point where you're feeling like you changed the situation, right? This is all about your money, your physical body, of course, your possessions, your wealth, property. So again, we just did an amazing video on survival, which really spoke parallel to this. So let's see what the 10's talking about here. So that's the Lord of Wealth. General meaning, overall welfare, inheritance, large concerning family is the events, all activity which remains for inheritors. Okay, so business is large companies, huge income, professions passed on generation from generation. What did it say in the beginning? Hereditary professions. All right, so we gotta cue that up. We gotta cue that in there. So again, something with this hereditary profession, we're just gonna copy it just like that, to show that it repeated itself. Hereditary professions, because your past actions, hereditary professions, huge incomes, large companies, right? All right, so passed on, inherited, passed on generation to generation, inherited companies, monopolies, corporations. At worst case, inherited family business, very good specialists and income, trade in minerals, carbon, diamonds, and metals. Mineral trade, right? Very good specialists in income. So the monopolies and the corporations. We're going to get to that. So relationships is very strong based on material interests and wealth, right? Various family histories and dynasties. So health is very good, strong. All right. So your advice on your past actions was to take up family business, clarify with the family relics and documents, follow the family steps. So what was your family into? You know? Took up the family business. Again, this is really key for some reason. But I don't necessarily know that it's based off of like business in the sense of work. I don't think that's what this one is really referring to for some reason. I think this is more so like, you know, like what inheritors and stuff is talking about. Like, are you looking back into your roots? Are you looking back into like not so much your genealogy, so to speak, but like more so like because of who your family was and what they were into, like there's this bountiful thing or compensation or inheritance that you technically deserve because of who they were. So follow your family steps. Are are you adopted? Are you not really who you thought you were? Maybe you're somebody else because of your family. Like maybe you're more than what you thought you were. You know, like, so do not cover yourself with family deeds. And the result is time of family welfare, great future awaits you. Right? That was from your past actions. So we can put that in the past. So you looked into the family business, you looked into the huge incomes, you looked into the large companies, you looked into the mineral trades. Right? What was the family business? It brought you a lot of success. Not necessarily from doing it, but from something you discovered. You found it, the treasure while investigating that, right? And it brought you a change. So all of that went away, and now you got this new thing. Maybe you were trying to run the family business, but that really wasn't what you wanted to do in life. And it was more trouble for you than it was worth. So it was tough, but you finally got rid of it. Or maybe because of COVID or something, you had no choice but to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? As some of the past, it just wasn't working. You feared the change, the negativity. You felt like you had wasted time. You felt broke, and that was your past actions trying to keep that alive. But we're going to find out. So what's the advice for the present here? Because that's where the conservative family comes from. You didn't want to disappoint them because they were conservative, so they're tradition based, and here they're passing down this tradition of what you're supposed to do because you're a part of this family and this, that, and the other, or this is how you're supposed to be because of. It's kind of like the video we just did, like survival. It's like we got a lot of people, especially in today's economy, feel like they got to fight to survive, and you don't necessarily realize that you don't have to. If all you was taught was to struggle, then maybe all you can think about in ways to complete it would be also a struggle, whether you realize it or not. And you grow, you were proud of struggling, right? and you had craftsmanship, you had crafts, you had skills. You had skills that you grew because of a life of struggle, that some of them were handed down from generation to generation. And you were married to that. You were married to that situation because it's all you knew. And then at some point you started seeking the meaning of life, and you found out that there's life beyond struggle. And this is from the core earlier. Let me get you this on the screen here so you can see what I'm doing. Because then you got to something recently where you got connected with the highest aim, and I mean like the most high, the all-seeing eye, what I mean, the highest aim, right? And that gave you a deeper inner trust in yourself, because a lot of times you feel like you wish you had more of this. You wish you had less of that. You wish you didn't have to this. You wish you could do that. But when you really connect with your faith, when you really connect with that highest aim, you'll understand that you are right where you're supposed to be for who you're supposed to become. And everything you've been through was part of that growth and development. It was part of that education that was customized and tailored for you and you only. You have a custom education, and that's called life. So once you get to that point in the core, it allowed you to be revived, because you had been depressed for so long, thinking that something was wrong. And you discovered, because every man's trash is another man's treasure, you discovered that what you've been trying to get rid of for so long, that life that you know so well, what you've been trying to hide, what you've been so ashamed of, is really a treasure. And that changed your whole situation. The problem was the solution itself. And that's why it's the final decision, and it seems like a lucky end, but you started from the beginning. Like I said, from the beginning, you were already where you needed to be. And it wasn't until that real union with the highest aim that you found ease in controlling your emotions, because you became at peace. See, once all that got cleared up for you in your mind, it became peaceful. Like you weren't at war with yourself. You weren't stressed out anymore. You have accepted that you have an education. You have a priceless education. And the solution is near, and the asking for help is you gotta know the highest aim has all answers. And now you're free from that old destiny, right? This is what's going on for you this week. You've been freed from that old destiny because you've expanded your mind, and you can see what the Most High can see for you instead of what you saw for yourself. See, because your past feelings, you were afraid of the change. You were immersed in negativity. You felt like you totally was wasting your time. You was broke, and you were afraid to reach. That's the don't stretch rubber. You was afraid to reach for what you really wanted in life out of fear that something would break on the way to it. Like you wouldn't be able to get close enough to it before there would be problems or failures. And that was a never-ending story. You know what I mean? So you tried everything else. You tried the family business, right? You used to get the big bank. You know what I'm saying? You was getting the money. But it was doing something to you that you didn't like. Right? Something about the minerals and trades and stuff. The rock business. We're going to get to your advice for the present. This is coming together. Eleven, 12, 3, 5. Here you are, back at the swords. So let me get this on the screen for you. So you got the Eight of Swords here. And here we go back with decisions. It's all about the actions, change, freedom. Thought processes. And this is your advice for the present, right? Let's take a look. So the Lord is short in force, stagnicity, restriction, right? Falling into a complicated situation if there is no way out or it's hard to see, but there is a way out in this card, just it has to be found. See? Treasure discovered, right? So the business is without any development, in the stage of stagnancy, not growing, minimal income, either losses. So the relationship dependent and strictly framed, mutual dependency is available as well. There is no freedom in the relationship. Right? And the health just says doesn't allow to feel free. So you got something really going on. You're feeling trapped. Psychological characteristics is modest, oppressed, full of complexes. So the advice is act step after step. Seek for a solution out of the situation. So find a way out. Right? And the warning is inaction is dangerous. Don't sit still. Don't sit still. That's like the water video we just did. Don't be still, be distilled. You see what I mean? Be like water. You see, water always takes the path of least resistance. So the way out must be found. Water is gonna find it by. Water will find a way out. You gotta be like water right now. You know what I'm saying? See, you're blindfolded. You're blind. You can't see. Right? You're tied up. You feel like you can't. You feel like nothing you do is gonna work. But you still gotta know you got two things. You can hear, you can smell, you can talk. And that's where it was saying earlier, ask for help. You see, sometimes we got to use the tools that we have access to, and we may not be thinking about how much tools we do have because we're focused on what we think we lack. You see, so you're blind in this card. You know, she's got a blindfold on, and she's bound by rope. But you can hear, you can smell, and you can still talk. Your mouth is not gagged. But if you don't ask for help, then maybe if you call out, someone will hear you. You know? Or maybe you're in a situation where if you yell, you can hear how big the room is by the echo. You know, it's a bunch of things that you can do at this moment. You know, gnaw at the ropes. You know, you got to make a way out of this situation. But see, the way out already exists for you, like we discovered earlier. It's just that we're not looking at it properly because we can't see clearly, and we feel handicapped. You know, you feel handicapped about that. So that's where it's getting into, like, you tried everything. You feel like you tried everything. But your advice for the present is find your way out because there's no freedom in this relationship. And that could be a job. I mean, don't necessarily think when they say relationship that, oh, Pasha said, get out of this, break up with my, no. This could be your job. This could be your old state of mind. Remember, at the core of this week is free from old destiny, right? That's what's really going on here. You gotta get with that highest aim, and you're gonna have a deeper inner trust with yourself. This ain't got nothing to do with the person you sleeping with sometimes during the week. You know what I'm saying? It's about you. And how you tied up and blindfolded when you're surrounded by swords. Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, you already know. If you want that fast pace, tell you little blips and keep it moving, that's not what we do here. Not right now. I'm in the learning process still. Okay? But I still give you this good content. Just take your time. Alright? Cause we go thorough here. We get all the way in. YNet 7. The Tarot Files. So, yeah, let me get this on the screen for you now. Because you got the Hangman. And you already know what that means for you. Okay? So you chilling, you at peace with this situation. All right? And this is your present feelings and ideas. Okay? So the Hangman is the victim, the drowned person. Right? So victim captivity, right? We're dealing with the water here. Okay? It's a symbol of birth, right? Which is good because you're about to birth that new destiny. You're about to birth that deeper inner trust with oneself, right? That's what you're about to birth. So the general meaning is challenges, sacrifice, prudence. Make sure I still got you there on the card. Intuition, isolation, prophecy, meditation, visualization, and clairvoyant, right? So you gotta go with your gut sometimes. Isolation is incubation. Oh, there go that birth. Right? So here we go. The events is the hopeless situation. The noose awaits, falling into the trap, going deep into events, alcoholism, drug addiction, arrest. Okay? Stay away from all that. So the business and work is arrest, basic business, underground works, working a shelf, production losses, output drop, stagnation, sticking in one's problems. So this is your present feelings and ideas. Right? So actually, I'm going to change that. I'm going to add, you feel isolated, but isolation is incubation because that's important. Now you feeling production losses. Working a shelf. We'll figure that out in a minute. Right? Now this relationship is inedible, status quo will be held out. Drags one another forced relationship, victim, reject, unsatisfactory relationship, change something, sensual, dreamy, romantic. Do not be afraid to be yourself. So free yourself to be yourself, right? I mean, that's basically what it is. And the health is suffering, illness, light addiction, autism, depression, blood pressure, stroke, suffering from a spiritual, either mental pain. Are you going through it right now? Psychological characteristics is consciousness, penetration into the essence of things, new attitude, strong inner power. Delicate person who is able to penetrate the essence of things. See? Where was it at? You were craving the meaning of life. Advice is change your attitude, arm oneself with patience. It's going to take some time, but you're going to get through it. Remember what we talked about. You're not going to go through this overnight. It's going to take time. Make the change. Michael Jackson, man in the mirror. Right? Only you can decide that. So the warning is it's useless to hold on to the past. Don't try to speed up events, especially using force. It will only get worse. May other people's interests never be above or below yours. Remember, keep the highest aim. Everything is needed at the time it's happening, so that everything can align with what is to happen. The result is going into the situation, necessity to live it down. You will have to advocate something. You will flounder in the old problems. And your past feelings and attitudes was you feared change, negativity, wasted time, felt broke, you didn't want to stretch the rubber, and it was a never-ending story. And your present feelings is victim, drowned person, symbol of birth, right? You feel isolated, but you need to know isolation is the incubation. Production losses, work in a shelf. Like we'll figure that. Top shelf? Is it just put up? The work is stagnant. That's what it is. So it's on the shelf right now. You got a lot of products and dreams and goals you wanted to do for yourself, but you're so bound up and trapped in what's going on. That's why it's saying the advice for the present is you got to find a way out. No freedom in that relationship. You got to get free of that. You got to get free of that oppressed feeling, trapped. And you got to do it step by step. You got to find a way out, but just don't sit still. Right? So that means you got to start now, because you're still feeling that drowning sensation. You know what I mean? You felt broke in the past. You feel like you're drowning now. You feared change, and you're going through negativity, had a lot of wasted time, and now you're still feeling like the victim. You see what I'm saying? So the things haven't improved at least as much as you would like to. However, you see how comfortable, the hangman always is when they're in the middle of their problems, in the middle of their trials. So you gotta break free from your complacency in order to even know you need to move on. Okay? And that's where this is getting, that's why this is becoming the core issue had too. It had all that stuff going on, the value, the vice, right? The family. If you feel like you come from a family that hasn't been successful, then damn it, be the first one. Be the first one. Matter of fact, I think that never be too proud is you can never be too proud. to be the first one to break the mold. You see what I'm saying? But you can only get there if you to overcome that fear, that change, or the fear of change and the negativity and the wasted time and the feeling of brokenness and that never-ending cycle there, and the similar way you feeling like a victim drowned now, looking for, you got a symbol of birth now. You isolated, and isolation is incubation. You know, you feeling the production losses, you put some work on the shelf, so maybe that's because that's not what you were supposed to do. Free yourself to be yourself. It's going to take time, make the change, but go back to the core. It's based off the highest aim. See, this is the result of the highest aim. When you focused on what you think you got, go back to this right here. When you so caught up on just what you think you have and what you think you don't have, right? You're limited in what you can produce. That's production losses. You see, and then the hangman made them comfortable in this position, which is why there's no gag on her mouth, but she's not crying out for help. She's not vocalizing. She's not using the swords behind her back right there to just rub up and down and just cut the ropes to free herself. And everything, even though she's blind, the whole environment appears to be in darkness, right? And she's comfortable. And you're comfortable, rather. That's you. Don't matter if you're male or female. You see what I'm saying? And this is why your advice for the present was to find the way out. There's no freedom in that relationship, and you still feel trapped, but it's going to take a step-by-step plan to find your way out. Just don't sit still. That's the most important part. You got to Nike this shit. You got to just do it. Let's see where the situation going. Seven, 9. All right, let me get it on the screen. Great, go back into that emotional state. You great, find that love, that self-love. It needed to be addressed too. Let's see how it plays out. Because you got a 9. So with the 9 of Cups, right, you got the Lord of Material Happiness. Okay? But this is in reverse. So You got disharmony and discomfort. Attempt to save comfort under uncomfortable conditions. See? You can't find comfort, or wait, I ain't gonna say you can't, but it's saying save, attempting to save comfort under uncomfortable. We'll just put it like it says it in there. Conditions. Because see, I'm thinking about the hangman though. The question is, are you supposed to be comfortable? Are you supposed to be looking to try? You can find comfort there, and that's the complacency. But the danger would be you're not supposed to be there anymore. You're that uncomfortableness was supposed to be part of what nudged you to the next level, to the next destiny, to that deeper inner trust with yourself. Right? This is why it's so hard to control your emotions, because you're trying to hang on to the past instead of letting go and move into the future. Let's see here. The minor business stays independent despite huge competition. Not big comfort, is able to make everything quickly, but so far it's not bad. Okay, so the business is doing okay now, right? It got off the shelf. So you got your business off the ground. This is where it's going. Okay? So the relationship emphasized one on each other. Try to save relationship beautiful from the outer through a great disharmony is in, or though a great disharmony is in. So everything that glitters ain't gold. Again, like I said a moment ago, I go back to the advice for the president and said, don't sit still. Right? But something about your present feelings got you thinking you're going to be able to stay in the same position that you are and find comfort. And it may appear to be comfortable. That is very true. It may appear to be comfortable. Just like this. Just like this. But in reality, everything's upside down. It's uncomfortable. It's in disharmony. So weakening is the health from the outer looks completely healthy. See? So psychological characteristics is good idea turning the bad game, puts all possible effort to show happiness and satisfaction. So advice is preserve good impression on yourself. Warning is you will get into an uncomfortable situation. The result is you will feel very little in this huge world. That's deep. Good idea turning a bad game. All of this is talking about like doing the best you can in a position you're not supposed to be in. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not that you have to be there. It's that it's that you chose to. See, that's why the advice for the president is, again, there's no freedom in this relationship. Oppressed, feel trapped. You gotta find a way out. Your past feelings or attitudes was feared change, negative. You feared the change. You kept talking about you're wasting your time, but you didn't want to make a change. You felt broke. That's why you feel drowned now. But if you don't act, you're gonna be you're gonna be making the most out of a situation. This is where we just talked about surviving. Why in that 7? See, that's attempting to save comfort under uncomfortable conditions. You got the business off the ground. Everything that glitters ain't gold. Not moving causes you to feel like you're doing the best you can in a place you're not supposed to be in. Like, if you move your mind, your heart, if you moved to a different location where there are different customers, if you moved your emotions about the tools that you have and just looked at what you had and made something else work, if you changed something, life could be totally different. Now, the thing is, because this is such a powerful event, these broadcasts, each of you are going to have to change something different for yourselves. It's not the same for everybody. That's why you don't hear me saying get rid of that car and get a new one or anything like that. It's different. You can see all the infinity of different things going on. I can't tell you who's it for. It's a very pivotal time for a lot of people. So don't feel alone in that situation. But there's going to be 2 types of people at the end of that condition. Those that moved and those that stayed still. Don't stay still. Whatever it is that you're contemplating and you're going back and forth, the trick to it is whichever thing it is that says I'm gonna just keep it like this, that's the wrong one. Because on the flip side of that situation hitting, when you step out of that old comfort zone, when you free yourself from that old destiny, you will be attempting to save comfort under uncomfortable conditions, because you're going to be leaving your comfort zone where you were so tucked in the cold with the heat on high on the 3 blankets. You're going to leave that in the AM and go walk across the floor barefooted into the bathroom in the freezing cold, even though it's warm. Before you get in the shower, turn the shower on, you're freezing. It's going to be uncomfortable when you start that journey, the process of proceeding into a new day, a different destiny. But when you take those steps and you get out there, you're going to get the job, and you're going to realize that everything that glitters ain't gold. Because you may have thought it was going to be so simple, but remember, you had to do it step by step. That's the advice for the present. But not moving would only leave you feeling like you're doing the best you can in a place you don't belong, while moving makes you feel like you're doing the best you can. And I know you want what's best for you. So don't sit still. Be this still. Be water, my friend. All right, let's see where this advice. Let's get this advice for the future. All right. Let me get this on there for you. So you had the 8 of Swords. That wasn't enough for you. You just needed some more swords in your life. You just needed some more decisions, some more interactions. Right? But that's good though, because if you're going somewhere, it takes decisions, interactions, action, change, freedom, right? And that's what the Swords is all about. All right, so now the 9 of Swords is the Lord of despair and cruelty. Okay? So the general meanings of fears, pangs of conscience, heavy karma, right? The events are predictive dreams, anticipations. There's something to be afraid of. Business is business before downfall, threat to rivals, fire, thefts, elimination of people in your inner circle, intimidations, and mental violence. The relationship, anticipation of a long loneliness, right? A very tragic break. Fear of losing a beloved person. As if someone would kill him or her, or he or she would die because of illness. 100% loss if drawn with 3 of Swords. So we didn't get the 3 of Swords. So you got the 8. And that's it. So you're good there, right? A night before a very serious operation. Some of you are going to go through an operation. You're going to have surgery in the next couple of weeks, right? State of a person who is diagnosed with a lethal disease. It's a lot of that going on right now. They running the vaccines out. It's a very trying time. The Lord of Despair and Cruelty. The Nine of Swords. Psychological characteristics is a person is very sensitive, conscious of his or her inner loneliness. See? The highest aim, deeper inner trust with oneself. Isolation is incubation. See? So the only positive sign of this card is it reveals psychics, sensitives, extrasensories, people with increased sensitivity. You see what I'm saying? You're going to have to be almost a psychic. It's going to seem like for that lucky end, for that final decision to be lucky ending as you started from the beginning with this real union. You see what I'm saying? That's how you survive. So the advice is listen to your anticipations and dreams. You know, keep it in your gut. The warnings is expect a misfortune. And the result is you will be intimidated by bad anticipations and suspicions. So the advice for the future: listen to your anticipations and dreams. Listen to your anticipations and dreams. Let's run through this real quick. So, at the core, you know, you got this conservative fam, you know, whether it's from them or from somewhere else, it's a lot of valued advice on the table. You know, sometimes a lot of people that's dealing with tradition, they feel like they're giving you valued advice or valuable advice because it's tradition, and this is how you should do it, and this is how it should be done, and this is how we've always done it, and we're handing this down to you for you to take this knowledge and keep doing it the same way. And you were like, you know what? What's the meaning of life? Like, I'm going to break free of this mold. I'm going to be proud of who I am, not who you wanted me to become, because oppressed people favor their oppressors. But when you connect with the highest aim, you get the deeper inner trust of oneself. And it's going to be a lot of people telling you, no, don't do it that way, because they can't see what you see. They haven't been given the vision that you've been given because of your faith in the higher aim that you have, whatever that connection is for you. See, you are going to revive. You are the phoenix. If all came before you was struggling and survival, you are going to be the first one to take them to see what life is. But you'll never be able to do that if you don't trust yourself. See, you discovered a treasure they didn't know of. So you're going to be able to change the situation for you and them if they comply with your wishes. Straight up. You don't owe nobody nothing. The solution, the final decision, is that you're going to appear to be lucky. And they're not going to understand why. But you knew from the beginning why. Because you had a real union. A real union with who? The highest aim. See? It's hard to control your emotions. Watching people that it's hard to control their emotions. But your solution is near, and you got to ask for help. But the help from who? I think that's the key right there. I don't think that family is the family around you that you need to ask for help from. I don't think that's your blood family. I think it's you. It's you and your connection with the highest aim. So the help has to come from you. And once you get help yourself enough to get that deeper inner trust in yourself, you can trust yourself to ask the highest aim to see for you. And free yourself from the destiny. Right? Because in the past you were afraid of change. You had the negativity issues. Whether that was your own or your environment. We're all products of our environment. You felt like you wasted a lot of time. You felt broke. You didn't want to reach out. And that was a never-ending story. You know, you tried what your parents said. You tried what the family said. You know, huge incomes, large. Right? That's what they promised. Where was it? You took up the family business. Where was it? What did it cost you? So the advice for the president is you got to get out. There's no freedom in where you're at right now. Or at least not for you. Somebody else may be perfectly happy, perfectly content, and enjoying themselves in the place you are right now, but it's not for you. And you're feeling trapped. And you're going to put down a map, and you're going to take it step by step, and you're going to find your way out. But if you got a map, you have to not sit still. Because even right now, you're still feeling drowned. You're still feeling like a victim. You're still feeling like you got the symbol of birth. You in isolation. So go ahead and get your incubation on. You're going to have to sit your production on the shelf for a minute because you got to work on yourself for a minute. Free yourself to be yourself, and it's going to take time to make a change. Right? Whether you sit still or whether you move on, it's going to be the same result. The same action. Right? It's going the same direction. Although it's going to have two different outcomes. You're still going to be attempting to save comfort under uncomfortable conditions. So why not make it saving comfort under uncomfortable conditions en route to where you want to be instead of where you know you shouldn't be? Either way, you're going to have your business off the ground. You're going to find out what glitters ain't gold. But not moving is going to cause you to feel like you're doing the best you can in a place you're not supposed to be in. While moving, you're going to be doing the best you can because you're going to be listening to your anticipation and dreams. And they were only given to you. The way out for you was only given to you. That's why you have to have deeper inner trust with oneself and trust no one else more than you and your connection with the highest aim. Pasha Pyro. It's YNet 7. This is the Tarot Files. Thank you for tuning. The replay. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. Put your peoples on. Cash App YNet 7. Appreciate the donations.